Camera's rolling, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Robin from Rainbow Gardens, and today we are here with our very own Dan Keefe, and he's going to tell us what we need to do now to start getting ready and preparing our lawns for the spring. So take it away, Dan. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Robin. Okay. I'm going to kind of give a quick run through of the main things that people need to do to get their lawn ready for spring, and then some follow-on care that we would do in the summer months and in the fall. In February, the first thing you'd want to do is maybe put down a pre-emergent for weed control or a post-emergent for winter weeds that are already up. So you want to get rid of the weeds. And some people like to core aerate their lawn, which means renting a machine or hiring people to do it for you. And it can be backbreaking work or it can be expensive, but it really invigorates the turf. So you get rid of the weeds and then you core aerate, which pulls out plugs of the heavy clay soil we have, throws them all over the lawn. And then you want to go back and top dress with compost, a very fine, rotted, broken down material, and rake it into the holes. Leave those plugs of clay soil that were scattered all over the lawn laying on the lawn, and when it rains or you irrigate, they'll slowly wash back in. What core aeration does is it invigorates the turf. It gets air down in there, it makes it drain better, which makes the lawn less likely to have fungus problems, and then the compost that you have in there, it helps feed the lawn, it introduces microbes into the lawn, and it also acts as a reservoir, so holding moisture as it starts drying out when it gets hotter. So that's what you want to do in February. If you know you're going to use an organic lawn fertilizer, you might want to apply that soon after you get the weeds taken care of and the aeration, if you want to do that. And the reason to apply it a little earlier than chemical lawn fertilizer is because it takes a while for it to start breaking down into usable nutrients that the lawn can absorb. When does the lawn actually start absorbing nutrients if they're available to it? Usually not until mid to late March. It needs to be warmer. A good rule of thumb for a chemical fertilizer would be to fertilize after you've mowed twice. Okay, the first mowing that most people do in their yard is a scalping to get rid of weeds left from the winter and and whatnot. And then the second one is because they have to mow. It's actually starting to grow when the grass is actively growing. Okay, that's when you want to have nutrients available to the lawn. The chemical fertilizers release nitrogen and other nutrients much more quickly, so they actually should be applied in mid-March into the first or second week of April. Okay, most of the fertilizers are going to feed, the spring fertilizers, for around 2 months, possibly a little longer, before they wear off. Okay, after you've taken care of weeding and feeding and starting to mow, the next thing you need to be conscious of are fungus problems. They're usually prevalent in the cool, wet weather of spring and fall. The spring cool, wet weather is usually a period of about 2 months, from March through into May, and shorter, mainly October into early November in the fall. Okay, you want to be watching for things like brown patch. Any dieback of the lawn in the spring is probably a fungus problem and needs to be treated with an appropriate fungicide. If you get through the spring and you don't have fungus problems, or you've taken care of fungus problems, as we get towards the beginning of June, usually the lawn fertilizer has worn off. We're having to irrigate more if we don't have rain, and sometimes the lawn will take on a yellow cast, particularly St. Augustine. If that happens, an iron supplement would be in order. My favorite is Dr. Iron, but there are many. Ironite, which a lot of people know of, is not strong enough and it does not do a very good job. So I would stay away from Ironite for lawns. Some people want to fertilize their lawn in the summertime. It's really not necessary. The lawn likes to go to sleep kind of in the summertime. It likes to kind of rest. If you want to feed in the summertime, I recommend a liquid lawn fertilizer. It's more like a snack than a meal, something like Has to Grow liquid lawn fertilizer. In the summertime is usually when you have your worst bug problems. Chinch bugs love the hottest, driest part of the yard, usually full sun areas near concrete, near sidewalks and driveways. And they tend to damage the blades, but not completely kill the grass, runners and all. If the infestation is severe, you see a lot of what appears to be browning of the tissue, leaf tissue, the blades of the grass. Get down on your hands and knees, and if it's a severe problem, you'll see little tiny brown insects about this big, but there'll be a lot of them. They're very easy to kill with any general purpose insecticide meant to be used in the yard. The other bug problem that we find in the summertime is damage from grub worms. Grub worms are the larval stage of June beetles, which usually emerge in May into June here in San Antonio. They mate, they die, and they put their little baby, the eggs, which become these little caterpillar things. They lay them in the soil. Sometimes you'll see them in vegetable gardens, but they lay them in lawn areas too. And you'll start seeing thinning and dying of patches here and there. And they're easy to control too. There's products made to take care of them. So that's another summer bug problem. But again, if you have dieback in spring or fall, it's more than likely going to be a fungus problem. Okay, the next thing usually most people are interested in doing is preventing winter weeds. If they have a problem with winter weeds, which usually you really notice in January, that's the month we're in right now, but they actually start as soon as it cools down and we get some rain in October. So you want to put down your pre-emergent herbicides for weeds in mid-September, okay? Soon thereafter, if you're going to use an organic lawn fertilizer for the fall, you want to get it down. The lawns don't really start absorbing nutrients until probably early to mid-October. So if you're using a chemical lawn fertilizer, you would want to do it, most people, they recommend the first week of October. Okay, and then I told you that there's also a fungus season in the fall, and you want to be looking for dieback in the fall. So that pretty much wraps up the main things you need to take care of. If you are a perfectionist and want a golf course quality lawn, you might want to get a specialized book on lawn care, or you might want to attend a turf grass management class at one of the local community colleges. And another good resource for information on lawn care is the rainbowgardens.biz website. Lisa Mulroy, who is our happy gardener, has put together a wealth of information to help guide you through taking care of your lawn. That's all I have, so thank you.